السلام الملكي. آمين. والصلاة.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله ولتنظر نفس ما قدمت لغد واتقوا الله إن الله خبير بما تعملون. ولا تكونوا كالذين نسوا الله فأنساهم أنفسهم أولئك هم الفاسقون. لا يستوي أصحاب النار وأصحاب الجنة أصحاب الجنة هم الفائزون. لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله. وتلك الأمثال نضربها للناس لعلهم يتفكرون. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر. سبحان الله عما يشركون. هو الله الخالق البارئ المصور له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم.
صدق الله العظيم. سيدي، الكلمة الآن لرئيس مجلس إدارة جمعية السرطان السعودية والحاصل على جائزة المتطوع الطبي المتميز على مستوى المملكة، الأستاذ عبد العزيز بن علي التركي.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قال تعالى: يرفع الله الذين آمنوا منكم والذين أوتوا العلم درجات. صاحب السمو الملكي الأمير أحمد بن فهد بن سلمان بن عبد العزيز نائب أمير المنطقة الشرقية، ممثلا عن صاحب السمو الملكي الأمير سعود بن نايف بن عبد العزيز أمير المنطقة الشرقية حفظهم الله، إخواني الأطباء والاستشاريون، ضيوفنا الكرام، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. تحية لكم من القلب في مؤتمرنا العلمي العالمي 12 لجمعية السرطان السعودية، وهو أيضا مؤتمر The Best of Saudi Oncology رقم 2، والذي بدأناه العام الماضي برعاية ومباركة من صاحب السمو الملكي الأمير سعود بن نايف بن عبد العزيز آل سعود أمير المنطقة الشرقية. شاركنا فيه مركز جون هوبكنز أرامكو السعودية، ويضاف له هذا العام يا صاحب السمو أحد أهم مراكز علاج الأورام في المملكة العربية السعودية، وهو مستشفى الملك فيصل التخصصي ومركز الأبحاث بالرياض. متطلعين أن يكون نجاح هذا المؤتمر حافزاً لمراكز الأورام بالمملكة العربية السعودية للمشاركة في مثل هذه المؤتمرات السنوية، لتصبح إحدى المؤتمرات الهامة في الشرق الأوسط والعالم أجمع. في البداية نتوجه بالتأنية لمقام خادم الحرمين الشريفين الملك سلمان بن عبد العزيز آل سعود وولي عهده الأمين صاحب السمو الملكي الأمير محمد بن سلمان بن عبد العزيز آل سعود حفظهم الله، بمناسبة البيعة الرابعة التي نجدد خلالها الولاء لقيادتنا الرشيدة، سائلين المولى عز وجل أن يديم على شعبنا ووطننا الأمن والاستقرار. حضورنا الكريم، نتشرف اليوم بمشاركة أكثر من 90 استشاريا متخصصين في طب الأورام والعلاج الإشعاعي وجراحة الأورام والأبحاث العلمية والتمريض من مراكز ومستشفيات مرموقة في علاج أمراض السرطان، فمن الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية مركز هيوستن ميثودست ومركز ديترويت الطبي ومركز أمدي أندرسون، ومن إيطاليا كلية الطب بجامعة روما ومستشفى الجامعة الأمريكية في بيروت، واستشاريين قادمين من فرنسا وبلجيكا واليونان وبريطانيا وألبانيا والهند وجمهورية مصر العربية والأردن وسلطنة عمان واليمن، بالإضافة لمشاركة عدة جمعيات تحمل نفس الأهداف الإنسانية كجمعية السرطان العمانية وجمعية السند اللبنانية وجمعية السرطان البحرينية وجمعية السرطان المصرية وجمعية رعاية مرضى السرطان بالإسكندرية ورابطة الأطباء العرب لمكافحة السرطان وجمعية السرطان الأردنية. اتحدوا جميعا يا صاحب السمو لمحاربة هذا الداء بالعلم والأبحاث. وعلى هامش هذا المؤتمر يتم تنظيم ورشتي عمل، الأولى خاصة بأبحاث السرطان بمشاركة مركز أبحاث مستشفى الملك فيصل التخصصي بالرياض، والثانية موجهة للكوادر التمريضية بالتعاون مع مركز هيوستن ميثودست بالولايات المتحدة الأمريكية. وقد حصل المؤتمر على 16 ساعة تعليمية من قبل الهيئة السعودية للتخصصات الصحية. كما نحتفل اليوم بجائزة أمير المنطقة الشرقية لأبحاث السرطان في دورتها الرابعة، يتنافس عليها 25 باحثا من عدة دول عربية بأبحاث تم تحكيمها من قبل 11 محكما من أكفأ الاستشاريين في علوم الأورام، محققين بذلك الهدف المنشود في تحفيز الباحثين من الشباب ما دون 45 عاما في المضي قدما في تطوير أبحاث السرطان في منطقتنا العربية. باسمي واسم أعضاء مجلس إدارة الجمعية ومنتسبيها وأعضائها ومرضاها ومتطوعيها، نتقدم لسموك الكريم بأسمى آيات الشكر والتقدير لتشريفنا بحضوركم ومشاركتنا هذه اللحظات التي تظهر المعدن الحقيقي للمملكة ودورها المميز في خدمة العلم والعلماء. آملين أن تنقل شكرنا وتقديرا لصاحب السمو الملكي الأمير سعود بن نايف بن عبد العزيز آل سعود أمير المنطقة الشرقية حفظه الله، الذي له اليد العليا في هذه الاستمرارية والمثابرة بدعم لا محدود لجميع أنشطتنا، ولكل من شأنه خدمة المجتمع وتطوير البشرية. كما أتوجه بالشكر إلى كل من إدارة منسوب مركز جون هوبكنز أرامكو السعودية ومستشفى الملك فيصل التخصصي ومركز الأبحاث بالرياض لإيمان بأهمية العمل الجماعي ومشاركة معنا هذا المحفل العلمي، ولجميع الأطباء والاستشاريين المشاركون على ما بذلوه من علم وجهد ووقت لإنجاح هذا المؤتمر. كما لا ننسى الشركات الداعمة التي آمنت بأهدافنا الإنسانية. وأخيراً أبنائي وبناتي المتطوعون والمتطوعات، لكم منا كل الشكر والتقدير، فأنتم صورة مشرفة للوطن. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
سيدي، الكلمة الآن لرئيس المؤتمر ورئيس اللجنة العلمية بجمعية السرطان السعودية الدكتور إبراهيم بن فهد الشنيبر.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. صاحب السمو الملكي الأمير أحمد بن فهد بن سلمان نائب أمير المنطقة الشرقية، أصحاب الفضيلة والمعالي والسعادة، زملائي الأطباء، أيها الحفل الكريم، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. صاحب السمو، بالأصالة عن نفسي ونيابة عن زملائي الأطباء أتقدم بالشكر والتقدير لسموكم الكريم على دعمكم المتواصل لجمعية السرطان وأنشطتها العلمية. إن رعايتكم وحضوركم الكريم في هذا المؤتمر له أكبر دليل على إيمان قيادتنا الحكيمة في دور المؤسسات المجتمعية في التطوير والتعليم ومنحهم الثقة والمسؤولية للنهوض والتقدم. صاحب السمو، حضورنا الكريم، لقد تأسست جمعية السرطان بالمنطقة الشرقية في عام 2004، ومنذ ذلك الحين انطلقت أنشطة اللجنة العلمية لتعقد مؤتمرها العلمي الأول عن الأمراض السرطانية عام 2005 برعاية كريمة من أمير المنطقة الشرقية، وقد استمرت هذه الرعاية لتمتد إلى يومنا هذا، حيث نقيم اليوم المؤتمر 12 ليتكرر الاجتماع السنوي للأطباء السعوديين مع زملائهم من الدول العربية والإسلامية والصديقة تحت مظلة واحدة يناقشون فيها آخر ما توصل إليه العلم وما نشر من أبحاث في التشخيص والعلاج للأمراض السرطانية، وذلك في 10 جلسات علمية تشمل سرطان الثدي، الجهاز الهضمي، الجهاز البولي، الرئة، أمراض الدم، أورام النساء والرعاية التلطيفية، لينتهي المؤتمر في يومه الثاني بجلسة لمناقشة السياسات والإجراءات الكفيلة بتقديم أفضل مستوى من الرعاية الصحية للمجتمع فيما يخص أورام السرطان. لقد وافقت الهيئة السعودية للتخصصات الصحية على المادة العلمية للمؤتمر، وقد بلغ عدد من سجل الحضور هذا المؤتمر حتى الآن 900 شخص من الكوادر الطبية. ويصاحب هذا ورشة عمل للتمريض تناقش الأساليب المثلى للتمريض في رعاية مرضى السرطان ومراعاة الآثار النفسية والاجتماعية للمرضى. أما ورشة العمل الثانية فهي عن أسس البحث العلمي في مجال علوم السرطان، حيث تأتي انطلاقا من إيمان الجمعية بأهمية البحث العلمي، ويتم فيها توضيح الأساليب الحديثة للبحث العلمي وأخلاقياته وطريقة كتابة الأوراق العلمية حتى يتسنى للأطباء السعوديين مواكبة باقي الأمم والتنافس معهم في هذا المجال. وختاما أتقدم بالشكر والتقدير لسموكم الكريم وكل من ساهم في إنجاح هذا المؤتمر، وأخص بالذكر زملائي الأطباء من متحدثين ومدراء للجلسات وأعضاء لجنة تحكيم جائزة أمير الشرقية لأبحاث السرطان، والشكر موصول لكم أيها الحفل الكريم، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
سيدي، الكلمة الآن لرئيس مركز الأورام في مركز جونز هوبكنز أرامكو الطبي، الدكتورة نفيسة الفارس.
يعطيك العافية. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. صاحب السمو الملكي الأمير، الضيوف الكرام من المتحدثين وزملاء الممارسين الصحيين، ممرضين وأطباء وصيادلة، نرحب بجميع الحضور الكرام. يطيب لنا في البدء أن نتقدم بجزيل الشكر والتقدير لصاحب السمو الملكي الأمير سعود بن نايف أمير المنطقة الشرقية لرعايته لهذا المؤتمر. وليس بمستغرب من سموه هذه الإطلالة التي تسعدنا وتشاركنا الرغبة في الارتقاء بمستوى الخدمات الطبية بما يحقق تطلعات حكومتنا الرشيدة. كما نشكر صاحب السمو الملكي الأمير أحمد بن فهد بن سلمان آل سعود نائب أمير المنطقة الشرقية لتشريفه لنا في هذا المؤتمر. على موعدنا السنوي نبدأ اليوم المؤتمر العالمي عن مستجدات رعاية أمراض السرطان، وذلك سعياً للتميز في تأهيل وتدريب الكوادر الطبية وتطوير خدمات رعاية المرضى بشمولية ومهنية عالية، واستمراراً لتميز المنطقة الشرقية بمركز جونز هوبكنز أرامكو الطبي في تقديم الخدمات العلاجية. فإن المركز يفخر بكونه أول مركز يعمل على تقديم الخدمات الطبية بشمولية وتكامل لعلاج السرطان جراحياً وكيميائياً وبيولوجياً، علاج متكامل، وليكون بذلك علامة وإضافة لمنجزات طب الأورام في المملكة. لقد سعدت اليوم بروح المثابرة والتكاتف والتعاون الذي أبداه جميع الزملاء الاستشاريين لتقديم خبراتهم في هذا المؤتمر، فاسمحوا لي أن أقدم لهم الشكر الجزيل على هذا المجهود وهذا العطاء. كما إنه لمن دواعي الاعتزاز أن يشارك مركز جونز هوبكنز أرامكو الطبي هذا الإنجاز مع جمعية السرطان السعودية ومع مستشفى الملك فيصل التخصصي، المنشأتان ذات الباع الطويل في مكافحة هذا المرض. وما هذه الشراكة إلا تأكيداً على حرصنا على التعليم والتدريب والمشاركة المجتمعية، فإننا نتقدم لهم بجزيل الشكر على جهودهم التي نتطلع أن تكون دوماً حاضرة وفاعلة بنجاح. وختاماً، فإننا فخورون بكل هذه المنجزات وما وصلنا إليه من تقدم بفضل الله تعالى، ثم بدعم من القيادة الحكيمة لحكومتنا الرشيدة، فشكراً لهم على ما يقدمونه لنا وعلى رعاية العلماء بما يساهم في بناء النهضة الشاملة التي يشهدها العالم. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
سيدي، الكلمة الآن للشريك مستشفى الملك فيصل التخصصي بالرياض في كلمة يلقيها رئيس مركز الأورام الدكتور محمد الشبانة.
الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. صاحب السمو الملكي الأمير أحمد بن فهد بن سلمان حفظه الله، أصحاب المعالي والسعادة، الزملاء والزميلات، أيها الحفل الكريم، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. تتمثل رسالة المؤسسة العامة للمستشفى الملك فيصل التخصصي ومركز الأبحاث في العمل على توفير أعلى مستوى من الرعاية الصحية المتخصصة في بيئة تعليمية وبحثية متكاملة. ففي مجال علاج الأورام بدأ المستشفى في تقديم الخدمات المتخصصة لتشخيص وعلاج الأورام منذ ما يزيد على 40 عاماً، وتجاوز عدد مرضى الأورام الذين قدم لهم المستشفى الخدمات الطبية المتخصصة ما يقارب 100,000 مريض ومريضة. وجاء ولله الحمد افتتاح مركز الملك عبد الله للأورام وأمراض الكبد في عام 2017 ليشكل إضافة كبيرة في الطاقة الاستيعابية للمستشفى، مما سيمكن المستشفى بإذن الله من تقديم الخدمات الطبية لعدد أكبر من مرضى الأورام وأمراض الكبد. وفي مجال التعليم والتدريب، ولأكثر من 30 عاماً يقوم قسم الشؤون الأكاديمية والتدريب بالمستشفى بتقديم الأنشطة التعليمية المستمرة وبمعايير عالمية. ففي عام 2004 تم اعتماد المستشفى من الأكاديمية الأمريكية للتعليم المستمر، ويقدم المستشفى حالياً 26 برنامجاً للزمالة و70 برنامجاً في التخصصات الدقيقة التي يأتي من ضمنها أمراض الدم والأورام. كما ينظم المستشفى ويشارك في تنظيم العديد من المؤتمرات مثل مؤتمرنا هذا العلمية الدورية بالتنسيق مع الهيئات المتخصصة ذات العلاقة. وفي مجال الأبحاث، تشكل الأبحاث العلمية الأساسية والتطبيقية جزءاً محورياً لرؤية مستشفى الملك فيصل التخصصي ومركز الأبحاث لأن تكون مؤسسة صحية رائدة عالمياً وذات بيئة علمية بحثية قوية وزاهرة. ففي عام 2017 فقط تم نشر 500 بحث في مجلات عالمية محكمة، منها قرابة 100 بحث تختص بالسرطان وعلاجه وأسبابه. والمؤسسة لن تألو جهداً في الاستمرار في ذات النهج، مستمدة العون من الله تعالى ثم من الدعم المتواصل من لدن ولاة الأمر أيدهم الله. وفي الختام أود أن أتقدم بالشكر الجزيل إلى راعي حفلنا هذا صاحب السمو الملكي الأمير سعود بن نايف حفظه الله، وإليكم سمو الأمير أحمد بن فهد بن سلمان على حضوركم ورعايتكم الكريمة رغم مشاغلكم الكثيرة. كما أشكر جمعية السرطان السعودية بالشرقية وأخصها بالشكر لرعايتها لهذه الفعاليات المستمرة منذ أكثر من 10 سنوات. وأخص بالشكر أيضا اللجان المشرفة والمنظمة والتي ضمت مجموعة من خيرة الزملاء والزميلات ومن المتطوعين والمتطوعات الذين تعاونوا جميعا ليخرج هذا التجمع العلمي بهذه الحلة الرائعة من حسن التنظيم وعمق المحتوى ونوعية المتحدثين. والشكر موصول لكم جميعا أيها الحضور الكرام، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
سيدي، نستأذن سموكم الكريم في تكريم الفائزين بجائزة أمير المنطقة الشرقية لأبحاث السرطان في دورتها الرابعة للأطباء العرب دون سن 40. ونبدأ أولا بتكريم حكام الجائزة، وهم الدكتور إبراهيم الشنيبر رئيس اللجنة العلمية بجمعية السرطان ورئيس اللجنة في تحكيم الجائزة، الدكتور متعب الفهيدي من مستشفى الحرس الوطني بجدة، الدكتور سمير شحاتة من كلية الطب بجامعة أسيوط، الدكتور عبد العزيز بلال رئيس قسم الأورام بجامعة الإسكندرية، الدكتور سامر أبو شليح رئيس قسم الأورام بمستشفى جونز هوبكنز أرامكو الطبي، الدكتور ديمتري فارفاس من جامعة روما، الدكتور علاء قنديل من كلية الطب بجامعة الإسكندرية، الدكتور هشام الغزالي من كلية الطب بجامعة عين شمس، الدكتور طه اللواتي من المستشفى السلطاني بمسقط، الدكتور معين عبد الرحيم من مركز هيوستن، الدكتور محمد السايس المدير الطبي بجمعية السرطان السعودية، الفائزون بجائزة أمير المنطقة الشرقية لأبحاث السرطان في دورتها الرابعة، المركز الثالث حصل عليه الدكتور محمد أبو عجيلة من جامعة الإسكندرية، يتسلمها بالنيابة عنه أستاذه الدكتور عباس عمر. المركز الثاني بحث مشترك ل3 من طلاب كلية الطب بالقوات المسلحة بالقاهرة، وهم الدكتور بدر محمد موسى، الدكتور محمد طارق علي، الدكتور محمود محمد عبد الجواد، ويرافقهم المشرف نائب عميد الكلية اللواء الدكتور محمد سعد حجازي. الفائز بالمركز الأول بجائزة أمير المنطقة الشرقية لأبحاث السرطان الدكتور محمد محيسن من جامعة الإسكندرية، ويتسلمها بالنيابة عن أستاذه الدكتور يسري رستم. تكريم الدكتور فؤاد بيضون من مركز ديترويت بأمريكا لإنجازاته في مجال استقطاب الأطباء السعوديين لاستكمال دراستهم في الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية. تكريم لشركة أرامكو السعودية لمساهمتها في تجديد العيادات المتنقلة للكشف المبكر عن سرطان الثدي. يتفضل باستلامها المهندس نبيل بن عبد الله الجامع نائب الرئيس لشؤون أرامكو السعودية. سيدي، حضوركم وتشريفكم للمؤتمر تشجيع للأطباء الأورام على العطاء، فهم يبادرونكم يا سيدي العطاء بهذا الإهداء، وهو عبارة عن شهادة شكر وتقدير موقع عليها من قبل أطباء الأورام المشاركين. فليتفضل الدكتور وحيد الخروسي من سلطنة عمان، والدكتور كاريكاس من اليونان، والدكتور سامي الخطيب من الأردن، والدكتور فهد بن شمسة من السعودية، والدكتور شادي الخياط، والدكتور أحمد سعد الدين من مستشفى الحرس الوطني بالرياض لتقديم الإهداء. شكرا لكم يا سيدي، ونتطلع إلى لقاء في مستقبل الأيام، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.
We will take few minutes and then we'll start the next session. Moderators and speakers, please be ready for next session.
الله يسلمك. كيف اخبارك؟ كيف اخبارك؟ طيب ان شاء الله، الله يرضى عليك.
كومينج سيشن ان شاء الله.
ان شاء الله، بس خلينا نشوف وين.
نشوف حاجه بعدها.
يلا يلا اوكي ان شاء الله ان شاء الله.
في حاجه؟
وين السيشن راح؟ اوكي خلاص اوكي. Where's
presentation?
I use
Just
the
I will take.
Mac,
Okay.
so it's very difficult.
Oh, Mac.
Only Mac.
I will try to. لحظة دكتور أنا
Okay, take your time.
نزلتها. So maybe it will not open. It's open.
Yes. Excuse me.
دكتور هشام أو دكتور أحمد؟
دكتور أحمد أول.
Okay. Okay. What is it?
This put it there.
This one? Okay, I will copy it.
اوكي
Okay.
انت اسحبيها
ايه
للفولدر
بسحبها
تبعك.
بس لحظة. This one, this
This
one,
one,
right?
yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay, خلاص. You can take your USB
Okay.
now.
Thank you, doctor.
Poem. P.
This one?
This. No, this. No, that's
Not
me.
this one?
That's me.
I think this one. The
لا,
last.
it's the last one. شوي. لا من دون ما تطلعيها.
Okay.
Wait. Don't worry.
No,
No.
it's for other doctor. Maybe I didn't.
No, you
Put
did.
it
You
right.
did. What did you call it?
SCF.
Saudi Cancer Foundation
No,
2018.
I will do it again. Sorry, doctor.
Say paste.
No, I pasted, but I think I'll be wrong.
No.
No, wait. Let me do it for you.
Yes.
I've got some familiar with this one.
Yeah, here.
Is this one just?
Yeah, let's
delete-
copy
no,
it.
no, don't just do it like this.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
خلاص. Okay. I will just open
I have to
yours.
check.
So we open this one.
Yeah.
Saudi Cancer
Yeah.
Foundation.
But
so
I
that's
will
the one.
rename it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's
Great.
yours,
Yeah.
right?
Okay, but I
Thank
have
you,
to check all the photos. Okay, please.
Sorry, you want
Yes.
to keep it?
To check all
Don't
the.
worry. Please. I want to check the last.
Okay. خلاص.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me open yours. I have it here.
Where's لحظة شوية.
Let me just rename it.
Where's my
Here.
USB and
Here. Your presentation here. I keep it. Go back, please.
Okay. Type, and I want to have this one here.
Oh, why?
Try
No, that
That's
just
it.
open it.
Okay.
Can I open it, please?
You want to okay.
Yeah, I know. Where is it?
Type.
Can I just open it? Because I keep it here. Here's your presentation, right?
Okay, that's me.
Okay, خلاص. Let me just rename the doctor's.
That is the different. This one.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, doctor. You want to start now, doctor?
They will. You know, I'm going to start, but I'll wait for them to
Okay.
start. خليك هنا.
Okay.
Can I?
You want to check?
Yes.
Do you want to check yours?
But we started at 12 o'clock, no?
Okay, I will open it.
No. Minimize it.
Yeah, okay. Here is this one.
The research workshop will start now in Hall Al-Maw'id 2. Research workshop will start now in the Hall Al-Maw'id number 2.
It's possible to have the reader for some. No,
It should be fine. What are you worried about? Exactly?
the reader with the test here.
Oh, is the text?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Can I check?
Which one?
Then, awesome.
Which one?
You mean the text here?
Yes.
Down?
Yes.
Sure, here.
Yes. To see to see the test when I speak.
Oh, okay. Let me ask.
I don't think it's you mean you need to put it
Yes.
here.
Yeah,
Yes.
I understand you. Wait, I will ask.
This is not you're not getting
Presentation. Slideshow. I think is here. Like
There's something new from yours.
this. I think this. No. No. I have to use my computer.
I don't think it's available here. It's the
You
only
think?
ways.
Wait,
This?
we will ask
Yes.
the man who's the one responsible. No, we will do it now.
Okay, please.
Okay.
And we have to check.
Okay. I will check it for
If
you.
not, can you use my computer?
No, we can do it. But
Okay.
I will ask
Okay.
دكتور ربيع شلونهم؟
Can I get your USB, please?
شلونك؟
اهلا وسهلا بك دكتور، كيف حالك؟
دكتور هذه الفلاش حقتك؟
ايوه.
خلاص اخذها. شكرا. وينك تعال لان عشان الحين بنشغل المحاضرات.
So you're from Italy?
From Rome.
وينك ما شو؟
Yes.
وين
University
محمد؟
Hospital
انزين
of
اتصل
Rome.
عليه خليه يجيني.
Where are you from?
Detroit.
Detroit.
Doctors, where is your presentation?
اكو في
Show me
folder.
first the one you presented at the first.
Yeah, اكو
لا، لا.
folder.
هلا حبيبي هلا.
How can I get to?
هلا. أنا بس لحظة باخذ من الدكاترة محاضرة وبطلع.
يلا بدهم يبدأوا.
أي جاب شنط فاضية وتأكدي من خالد لأن عنده شنط الVIP
أيوة.
أي يمكن في اسمها.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. We will start the session. Wait, I know.
Which one is the first?
I think esophageal is first. I think.
This one, the first?
No. You know what? Let's leave it there.
Okay, well later on.
أكيد حيجي.
I will do it for you later.
That is the USB.
Yeah.
غريبة. Shall we start? Are you ready, Ahmed?
لا مش it is not ready لأن they have to it is central يا أحمد كلمهم central هناك. يا دكتور إبراهيم.
قول لهم يفتحوها. سبحان الله فضيت القاعة. خلص لا question at the end of the session. أساسا ما في حدا.
ما في
القاعة فاضية.
أنا شفت بعد السنة قبل فخفت إنه مشكلة.
عشان كذا أنا ما
شوف نفس اللي حتعطيها هي نفسها وين؟
أوكي.
يعني أي لايك قبل السيرموني يكون بالليل يكون خلص.
Shall we start?
Yeah. Excuse me. We will start now. We will resume our previous session with Dr. Ahmed Saaduddin. Dr. Ahmed Saaduddin, Consultant Medical Oncology, King Abdulaziz Medical City, National Guard Hospital, Riyadh. Associate Professor King Saud bin Abdulaziz for Health Science in Riyadh. He will present for us CDK4/6 inhibitor for hormonal positive metastatic breast cancer. How much, and who do we know? Please stick, each speaker will stick for only 15 minutes, and we will keep the question to the end of the session. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the invitation and for the introduction. This is the topic, the new class of medication in metastatic breast cancer, how to place them and how much are we sure of what we are doing. Because we are talking too much about this issue, I've chosen a different way to present this topic, and this is the presentation outline. We'll go one by one. People who knows me knows this is my favorite slide. Please make sure that you have your team around you if you want to do breast cancer oncology. We are not talking about an uncommon disease. It's common in our place. We are seeing around 2,000 in our last, according to our last Saudi cancer registry, of which almost a third is localized, but the rest are either regionally or distant metastasis. So we deal with a lot of disease. Unfortunately, this figure of 16 to 18% of metastatic disease at presentation did not change, which raises a lot of questions. We don't think of breast cancer as one disease. It's at least three diseases, three main types. And unfortunately, we don't do this in our cancer registry, which is a big failure. So we deal with breast cancer as one disease. We still only register morphology, no biology. 4 revolutions in the breast cancer in the last 10 years. The understanding is the first revolution back in 70s, knowing that breast cancer is a systemic disease. Then we have revolution in each and every type of breast cancer. Today I'm going to touch on the luminal breast cancer revolution, specifically with the class of medications called CD4 check inhibitors. Now, I'd like to start with this question. What is the thing which makes us change our mind in the way we treat breast cancer? Is it PFS or overall survival? Senior breast consultants knows, the difficult question we face in the clinic. We know that tamoxifen have given PFS of 8 months. We changed our practice based on PFS only to aromatase inhibitors 14 months, and fulvestrant recently 3 months more, 17 months total. But have we been consistent in the way we are dealing with this question? The answer is no. We have our data to confirm survival benefit in anti-HER2, double anti-HER2, TDM1. We don't have it in tamoxifen versus AI. We don't have it in mTOR combination, and we don't have it basically in CD4/6 check inhibitors, though we have changed our practice in all these areas in breast cancer. So we have not been consistent. And I think as a group, we need to make up our mind to know how to serve their patients. The guidelines internationally, they are not the same. Some take PFS as enough reason to change, others don't. And in our group in Saudi national guidelines, we were trying to actually sail through these data, and we took basically most of the data on PFS, although we would love to have overall survival. So overall survival is always a good to have, but if not available, we felt that PFS can be taken as a practice-changing endpoint. And when it comes to hormonal therapy, I think time to chemotherapy is a very good way to look at it, indicating shorter period if you have longer PFS with hormonal therapy. So we did change our practice in the kingdom based on PFS, basically. Where do we stand in the results? I don't want to really repeat the talk. Some of what I'm going to say is very well known to my senior colleagues, but might be sort of refreshing for others. In the first line, as I've mentioned, we have done well with improving the median progression-free survival up to 17 months with the aromatase inhibitors. In the second line, we don't do as well, but the PFS have been between 4 to 6 months using the second line medications, exemestane in old days and fulvestrant recently. And if you follow the ESMO and European guidelines, if you give tamoxifen a third line, we don't know how much it's going to add, but this is the guideline sort of suggestion. This is the slide I like the most. The overall survival for hormone-positive breast cancer, whatever you are going to treat, till now is about 50 months. And we would love to beat that one with any combination of medication. So the major questions we face, can we improve on the 17 months PFS? And the answer, yes, we did, and I'll show you. And can we improve on the 50 months of overall survival? And the answer is no, and we are waiting for more data to come. This is the summary of data on a class of medications, CDK4/6, in endocrine-sensitive breast cancer. Just to, because of the sake of time, this is a class of medications which prevent cell from going into the cell cycle. That's why we call it CD4/6 check inhibitors, they actually stop that checking point, and the cell cannot go into circulation, and that's why tumor cells go into programmed death and apoptosis. Now, the data on this cohort of patients are very consistent. There's 3 phase 3 randomized clinical trials using 3 different medications, giving exactly the same outcome with a hazard ratio of around 50%, 0.5. So there is an excellent improvement in every drug used from that class to that effect, and we are talking now about hormone-sensitive disease. The benefit is around, we said it's between 14 months in AI, it adds another 14 months. So we are talking about almost 27 to 28 months of improvement. Very good outcome, which is satisfactory to us to consider combination in general in this cohort of patients. This is a specific study for the premenopausal woman, because most of the data in the other ones were in premenopausal. And this is a different combination using fulvestrant and CD4 check inhibitors. So the best hormonal therapy with CD4, Monalisa 3, and I want you to concentrate on the right side. In the first line, we have seen again the same benefit, but this study have raised, even more questions. So this is a summary of the hazard ratio, around 0.5 in most of them, almost a copy-paste. So you cannot say one drug is better than the other. Just to recap on PFS, AI, which is the common medication we use 14 months, if you want to use Faslodex as a first line, it has been shown in Falcon to go up to almost 17 months. Compare this to chemotherapy, which we used to do 10 years ago. It's only 12 months. So hormonal therapy is better than chemotherapy in this cohort of patients in PFS. Some of us said, okay, no, the response rate and the duration of response is actually better with chemo. The answer is no. The endocrine therapy response rate is about 42%, and the response rate from Taxol, the best chemotherapy used in this cohort, is only 38%. Now, what about the duration of response? Look at the very early response with these medications. So it's the timing of response, duration of response is in favor of combination, and that's why most of us have shifted from using chemotherapy in this cohort to using this class of medication. Now, this is the actual debate. We know the combination is good, but which hormonal therapy? We have tamoxifen, we have AI, we have Faslodex, and which CD4, which CD4K check inhibitors shall we use? Do we know the answer to these ones? This is a slide to help us choosing what hormonal therapy. The tamoxifen is not a good choice because the PFS is actually not that high. It's only 22 months. And there's some suggestions, some precautions which has been raised about Q2 interval and a concurrent use of tamoxifen. Still, it is in the NCCN guideline. This is for everyone to know. The AI with CD4 class has actually given 27 months of improvement, and we are still waiting for the best hormonal therapy, fulvestrant plus this combination, Monalisa 3, the median survival, which is not yet reached, but definitely more than 12 months. So the jury is still out. We don't know what to use at the first line. Currently, we are using AI, but maybe in the future, we might choose fulvestrant for some patients. Now, other things which might help you to choose between medications, we shift to CD4, is the hazard ratio and adverse events. As I've mentioned, hazard ratio is almost a copy-paste. Adverse events, we need to know. There are a little bit of differences, and that's why I think we need to be very familiar with the side effects of each one. Is not the platform to go through this at this point. Now, can we identify patients who do not benefit from this combination? A very important question we face. Does everyone need CD4K combination up front? This is the Falcon study, very famous one, which have shown if you use Falcon, fulvestrant compared to AI, you get very modest improvement, 2.8 months. But if you subgroup these patients between visceral disease and non-visceral disease, you see the main benefit is patients without visceral disease, i.e. bone mets only, and that improvement is up to 8 months, while with visceral disease, you don't see any effect. So this is, an information to help you trying to find out what to use. So now we have another addition to this diagram, where if you use fulvestrant with no visceral metastasis, you might reach PFS of 22 months, almost 2 years. Very good outcome. Compare it to tamoxifen, which is used to be only 6 months. So we have been doing well over the last 10 years when it comes to PFS. This study came to confuse us even more. We knew fulvestrant is good, but now if you add CD4 to fulvestrant, you get a better outcome compared to fulvestrant alone. How do we deal with this information? Very new one. I think we are still learning, and the jury is still out. Now, are there a subgroup of patients which might not benefit from the combination? This is the sort of clinical parameters. As you can see, the hazard ratio is almost the same in every way you look at it. Bone only, lobular disease, everything we thought the combination might not help. So again, it's a very difficult question to answer. Do we have any biomarkers to help us? The short answer is no. We don't have any biomarkers to tell us which patient will not benefit from these medications. We have this one from the MONARCH, the abemaciclib study, in the first line. If you have treatment-free interval more than 36 months, means reflecting very good hormonal sensitivity, maybe those patients will not need the combination. That is one way to look at it. Liver mets, if it is there, they get more benefit compared to no liver mets, although the benefit is there in both class. If there's only bone disease, the benefit is very modest compared to bone plus other things. And this is a summary slide. It tells you that if you are going to use CD4, and namely abemaciclib in this cohort of patients, the benefit is definitely more in patients with clinically concerning features like high-grade liver mets and short disease treatment-free interval. So in my clinic, these are the things. This is a very personal view. This is what I try to really do. If I have a patient with very long disease-free interval, very low volume disease, no visceral disease, low grade, less aggressive biology, I might actually, and I am considering monotherapy in such patients. Now, again, the question we were discussing yesterday, do we need to have one medications or should we have all of them on the shelf? I think one drug does not fit all the patients because of toxicity profile. Why to kill the competition among companies if you choose one? That's a question. What other countries are doing, and I understood from the colleagues I've contacted that most other countries having all medications and they can choose. And our previous experience with hormonal therapy, letrozole, arimidex, and exemestane is very encouraging us to have more than one. And as I was saying yesterday, the price of letrozole did not change over 12 years because we had only one company providing the drug. So I think we need to keep that in mind. I'll give you examples where one drug does not fit all. If I have all on the shelf with the same price, and it has to be the same price, then I might use MONALEESA 7 data for premenopausal. If I have very concerning clinical features with a patient, I might choose MONARCH data to do that. I will avoid ribociclib in any patient with cardiac patients, and I'll avoid balbo in someone with bone marrow problems. So yes, we need to have all of them, and we need to choose provided that the price is the same. And very important point to me, because we start facing shortage of these medications in our practice, where is the patient advocates? Unfortunately, they are not present in our practice. We don't see their effect, and we don't see their presence. Although in the ABC3 and now ABC4, there's a full page about patient advocacy. And patients has to have a say in the availability and guidelines in these medications. I think as an oncologist, we need to really push for this, because this is not our only say. Yes, We provide the scientific part, but I think they are the beneficiary part who really need to have their own say. And look at the expert opinion, 100%. You know, so there is something we need to work on. In conclusion, that summarizes my conclusion. The NCCN in Version 1 2018 listed everything for you to confuse you. And in the last version, 2018, is actually more confusing because it gives you the class. You choose whatever you want. There is no help for us to really choose what. And last night, we did this, a group of experts in the kingdom. And as you can see, yes, we agree on the principles, but we are still sort of different in the way we look at our treatment and the need for combination in both things. And this is quite natural, I think, given the ambiguity of data we face. I think that was, so in conclusion, I will say the landscape of this cohort of breast cancer, hormonal positive, HER2 negative, is rapidly changing, but very confusing. The importance of overall survival has to be readdressed, and I think we need to think about it, although we are using PFS. One drug does not fit all. I strongly believe in that. These class of medications are here to stay, but I think we need to learn much more to whom we should give them or not to give them, when to start, and for how long shall we give. I hope I summarized for you the dilemma of this case. Thank you.
Thank you for this excellent presentation. And now we will move. He will present the.
Now we will move to the next speaker, my friend. I have the pleasure to introduce my friend, Professor Dr. Hisham Al-Ghazali. Professor Hisham Al-Ghazali, Professor of Clinical Oncology. He is the head of Medical Ain Shams Research Institute. He is also the Chief of Oncology Department and also the General Organization of Teaching Hospital and Institutes. Please, Professor Hisham.
Thank you very much. I'm trying to check the slides. Excuse me, asking about the slides, if possible. Okay. I think I must depend on myself.
Ahmed, can you help him? You are doing the same. Do the same.
Okay, خلاص أنا فتحتها من هنا. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for introduction. I want to thank the Saudi Cancer Foundation for inviting me. I'm very happy to be here and to collaborate again and again. And I'm very happy for the research awards that may help in enhancing the research activity in the region. And I want to start by this painful slide. When we have here incidents in the Middle East and in Egypt of breast cancer less than the Western countries, but unfortunately the mortality is higher. So it's very, very important to enhance our collaborative activity for research, and I'm very happy with the NABL's activity for research in the region, and all of us, we must have an outcome about this. And we all know that the breast cancer is not one disease, as Professor Saaddin just said, and the HER2 is a negative prognostic factor, with HER2 overexpression is almost about 20 to 25% of cases. A lot of questions in this subset of patients. What is the optimal sequence in metastatic breast cancer with HER2-positive disease? And it's really worth to go for targeting HER2 beyond the progression, and what of role of endocrine therapy in triple-positive disease, and what about the new data and more questions. And 20 years ago, Professor Sleman announced that the monoclonal antibodies added to the chemotherapy, enhancing the survival for the first time in the patient with metastatic breast cancer HER2-positive. And this improvement enhanced by the addition of trastuzumab to docetaxel in the M77001 study, reaching an overall survival difference of about 8.5 months better than chemotherapy alone. So it is like planning the standard of treatment in HER2-positive metastatic breast cancer in this setting. And so what is more, can we go for combination blockade of the HER2, and this is beneficial or not? And this is the very famous Cleopatra study, which is the phase 3 study comparing addition of bertuzumab to trastuzumab with docetaxel or without addition of bertuzumab. And here, the first announcement by Professor Bazilga about the progression-free survival, marvelous improvement in the progression-free survival of median 18.5 months compared to only 12 months with the trastuzumab arm. And look how beautiful improvement in the overall survival by the analysis by Professor Sandra Swain, improvement about 15.7 months in the bertuzumab Herceptin arm compared to the trastuzumab alone, with unprecedented improvement in overall survival reaching to the boundary of about 60 months improvement or 60 months over median overall survival in those patients. Going to the patient characteristics and to see whether there is a subset of patients receiving prior trastuzumab. Yes, we have about 11% of patients receiving prior trastuzumab, and this improvement in the progression-free survival occurred in those also patients, but take care that all patients with previous trastuzumab receiving trastuzumab and completed since more than 12 months. And this improvement on this subset of patients occurred in the progression-free survival and also in the overall survival. Again, the bertuzumab improved the progression-free survival and overall survival regardless of the hormonal status, so in the hormonal receptor positive and hormonal receptor negative. Going to the real-world data with the Perios study using this combination with all types of taxane, including paclitaxel, nab-paclitaxel, and docetaxel, and also regardless the hormonal receptor status, there is improvement in the progression-free survival. So what about these patients who are progressing during the adjuvant trastuzumab or shortly within 6 months after the end of the finalization of the adjuvant trastuzumab? And the famous and another successful story with the Emilia study, studying those patients and the other patients with prior taxane and trastuzumab, comparing them to receive either TDM1 or labatinib capecitabine with improvement in the progression-free survival and also the overall survival, with reaching about 30.9 months compared to only 25 months in capecitabine labatinib arm. And then another disappointing study, because they compare the TDM1 either alone or with bertuzumab, comparing them to trastuzumab docetaxel or trastuzumab paclitaxel. And it's very important to see the group randomized, that those patients who are HER2 positive, locally advanced breast cancer, no prior chemotherapy for locally advanced breast cancer, or those patients who are very, very sensitive to the HER2 treatment. And despite the trial was planned for non-inferiority, but there is no gain for adding TDM1 either to bertuzumab or TDM1 alone compared to the trastuzumab. Going to the second line treatment, and we just mentioned the Emilia study, and you see here that about 84% of the patients receiving pre-treated for metastatic breast cancer. And we just said about the marvelous improvement in this subset of patients in patients receiving TDM1 compared to labatinib capecitabine. And also another disappointing study, the FRIXA study, when we tried to introduce pertuzumab in the second line treatment, comparing the Herceptin pertuzumab with capecitabine versus trastuzumab and capecitabine, with no improvement in progression-free survival. There is improvement in overall survival, but there is no, the trial is almost not accepted in the scientific community. So what is the best proposed sequence according to the prior trastuzumab therapy if the patient have de novo metastatic breast cancer or previous receiving trastuzumab more than 20 months? The best is to go for the combination pertuzumab trastuzumab based therapy, and if the patient in the second line or progressed during or within 6 months of trastuzumab therapy, is the better is to go for TDM1 treatment. But it's very important to know what is in the later lines, and then we will go for the TRACER study. And you see here in the inclusion criteria that those patients who receive 2 or more prior HER2-directed therapy randomized to receive either TDM1 or the treatment of physician choice. And you see here that almost about more than 60% have more than 3 previous anti-HER2 treatments, and see how beautiful the separation of the curve here with the TDM1 reduces the risk of progression of this is about 48%, and also improvement in survival in this subset of patients. Multiple randomized clinical trial addressing these second line treatment, and you see here in the first line you can choose between them, but you cannot go for comparison and between the trials, but we have here achievement of about 56 months in the first line, 30 months in the second line, and again 22 months in the third line. We will go for the subset, very important subset of patients with HER2 positive and hormonal positive. So we have 2 drives, and we have a success stories between combination of trastuzumab with aromatase inhibitors, including the Tandem, Electra, and Geniston, studying addition, blocking both receptors, the HER2 and the hormonal receptor, with improvement in progression-free and overall survival. So what if we can go for double blockade for the HER2, addition of pertuzumab to trastuzumab with the aromatase inhibitor, and there is improvement in the progression-free survival, reaching about 21 months versus only 12 months within the arm without double blockade. But it is not easy in this situation. There is a lot, beyond the double blockade, there is a lot of crosstalks between the receptors and also the pathway, the PI3K ACT pathways, and we may listen a lot about this with Dr. Tahir Tawajri. And there is a study, 2 important studies, the Bolero 1 and Bolero 3, and Professor Sleman announced about them in 2015. The Bolero 3 comparing the everolimus, trastuzumab, and the vinorelbine compared with placebo, trastuzumab, and the vinorelbine. The Bolero 1 is everolimus, trastuzumab, and the Taxol or the paclitaxel compared to the placebo, trastuzumab, and the vinorelbine. And in both studies, there is no improvement in the total population in the progression-free survival, but there is improvement in the subset with hormonal negative disease. And so he concludes that the patient with hyperactive PI3K pathway, which have low PTEN or known to have mutation in the PI3K, benefited, whereas the other subset of patients not benefited from adding emitter for this. Going to the CDK4/6 inhibitors, can we go for addition of CDK4/6 inhibitor to the trastuzumab and led a lot of ongoing trial. And we all know that in San Antonio we have the Patricia study showing that comparing my friends Alex Pratt and the Spanish group, comparing the palbociclib trastuzumab to palbociclib trastuzumab and letrozole. And these are the patient characteristics where there is improvement, and they discuss the luminal disease or non-luminal disease by assessment with BAM50, and there is improvement in the progression-free survival. There is a small, very small number of patients, but may give an opportunity to discuss more and more about this very important setting. Another thing that the addition of the immunotherapy in the last K2 study published in the last San Antonio by Professor Lisha Inman, studying the addition of atezo to TDM1 versus without TDM1 alone, and there is no improvement in the progression-free survival in the all population, but there is improvement in the progression-free survival in the patients with PD-L1 positivity. So we conclude that the addition of TDM1 and pertuzumab and double blockade may enhance the survival in patients with HER2-positive disease like this, but we have a lot that we don't know, and we know now that the HER2-positive disease is not only one disease. We have the hormonal positive, hormonal negative, PI3K mutation or wild type, and also the presence of TEL and PD-L1. And we can conclude that the addition of pertuzumab is the standard first line for most of the patients, TD1 remaining the standard then second line, and also it is reasonable for the patient who are progressing during the adjuvant setting or within 6 months. Selected patient with HER2 or triple positive disease may benefit from the addition of the hormonal treatment to the anti-HER2 treatment, and the ongoing research must be encouraged, especially in the region, for this very important thing. And I take this opportunity to invite you to One World Against Cancer in the BGICC, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so thank you, Ghazi. Now we are moving to Dr. Mit'ab Al-Fuhaidi. He's a consultant medical oncology at National Guard, Jeddah. Mit'ab, he is well known to all the medical oncology, I think, that in the region. And he's going to talk to us about ESMO update on metastatic breast cancer.
This one? Okay. Wait.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين. Thank you again for your kind invitation. Thank you, Dr. Tahir, for your kind introduction. So I will discuss with you two, I think, main study from the ESMO. One, the Ambition 130 clinical trial, and the second is the SOLAR trial. And you need to pay attention, otherwise there will be no lunch. So the first study is the Ambition. So this is the background from the speaker, that the triple negative breast cancer is associated, unfortunately, with poor outcome, and usually they have median overall survival of approximately 18 months. And we usually treat our patient with a sequential single agent chemotherapy, and unfortunately we don't have a targeted therapy for triple negative breast cancer apart from the bevacizumab, which is used outside the US, and usually is used with the weekly paclitaxel according to guidelines. So the checkpoint inhibition now is a useful approach in the treatment of many solid tumor as well as in the triple negative breast cancer. We know that the programmed death ligand 1 or BDL1 can inhibit the anti-cancer immune responses, and the BDL1 in triple negative is expressed mainly on tumor infiltrating immune cells. So this is very important to notice that. So this is again a background for the drug atezolizumab, which is anti-BDL1 monotherapy approved for certain type of metastatic bladder and lung cancer. And in a preclinical phase 1 study, the atezolizumab, in a clinical phase 1 study, atezolizumab monotherapy was active in multiple cancer, including triple negative breast cancer, and actually it was showing some excellent outcome. So this was the background for the phase 3 clinical trial, the Ambition 130, where metastatic or inoperable locally advanced triple negative breast cancer with no prior treatment. So they have been treated for the first line with good performance status, were randomized in 1-to-1 fashion to receive atezolizumab, I will call it atezo, plus nab-paclitaxel, which was used on day 1, 8, and 15 for 4 weeks cycle. The other arm was the placebo plus the nab-paclitaxel. The patient were stratified by the prior taxane versus not, by liver metastasis versus not, and the reason for the liver metastasis because they thought that the atezolizumab might not be effective in patient with liver metastasis, and BDL1 status on the immune cells versus not, and they defined the BDL1 status as being positive if it was more than 1% on the immune cell. The primary endpoint was a co-primary where progression-free survival and overall survival was done in 2 patient population. So the first one is the intent to treat population, so all patient, and then they look at the BDL1 positive population. They have also a secondary endpoint including objective response rate and duration of response as well as safety. So this is the patient disposition. So 900 patients were randomized between the 2 treatment group. There was approximately 41% of the patient population with BDL1 positive, again distributed between the 2 treatment group. So this is the baseline characteristics. So the median age was 55, and they have good performance status, and approximately 63% of the patient had prior adjuvant treatment, 51% with prior taxane in the adjuvant / neoadjuvant setting, and 54 with prior anthracycline. The patient had metastatic site or metastatic disease with 4 or more metastatic site in approximately a quarter of patient, 25. And the main site of metastasis as expected, lung is being the first site with 50%, liver 1/3, bone 1/3, as well as brain disease. And as we mentioned, 41% of the patient had BDL1 positive population. So this is the primary endpoint. So in the intent to treat population, so the addition of atezolizumab to nab-paclitaxel was associated with a statistically significant improvement in progression-free survival compared to nab-paclitaxel alone. Hazard ratio was 0.80 with a significant p-value. The progression-free survival improved from 18 months to 24% during the first year of progression-free survival, and by duration it improved from 5.5 months with 7 to 7.2 months, so approximately 2 months duration. When the investigator looked at the BDL1 positive population, now the improvement is becoming more clinically significant, 5 months to 7.5 months with a hazard ratio of 0.62. So the hazard ratio improved from 0.8 to 0.62 in the BDL1 positive population. Then the investigator looked at the interim overall survival, and here the addition of atezolizumab was not associated with a statistically significant improvement in the overall survival. The hazard ratio was 0.84, and despite that, there was a numerical improvement in the overall survival from 17.6 to 21 months with the addition of atezolizumab. Then the investigator looked at the overall survival at the BDL1 positive population, and here we can see a huge numerical improvement, approximately 10 months from 15.5 months to 25 months. And now the hazard ratio is 0.6, becoming significant. And you may notice that we don't have p-value because of the hierarchical design, that they should not look at the BDL1 positive population. So when they looked at the ITT population, trying to find a group of patients who might respond to or benefit from the atezolizumab, all the patient subgroup benefited from the addition of this immunotherapy apart from BDL1 negative patient population. They looked at the secondary endpoint, and the atezolizumab was associated with improvement in the objective response rate as well as duration of response in compared to the monotherapy. In regard to the side effect, there was no concerning side effect or a new from what we know about the immunotherapy. The most common was neutropenia, decrease in neutrophil count, peripheral neuropathy, fatigue, and anemia. And they looked at the serious side effect, and there was a higher proportion of patients in the atezo developed more serious side effect. It was 23 versus 18, but there was no serious adverse event between the two treatment arms. The most common side effect of atezo was hypothyroidism. It was approximately 17%, and there was other rare side effect as known. So the investigator concluded that this is the first phase 3 study to demonstrate a benefit with the first-line immunotherapy. The addition of atezolizumab was associated with a statistically significant progression-free survival, and in the BDL1 positive population and in the ITT, and also was associated with clinically meaningful improvement in the overall survival, and I can say this is a numerical improvement. So eventually they mentioned that for patients with BDL1 positive tumor, this data established atezolizumab plus nab-paclitaxel as a new standard of care. So before I will go to the second clinical trial, one important point that this medication was given a priority designation for the FDA on November 13, and we are expecting that the FDA will decide on whether to approve it. Most likely they will approve it on March 12, 2019. The other clinical trial, if I have time, so it is the alpelisib fulvestrant for the luminal advanced breast cancer, or the SOLAR-1 trial, phase 3 clinical trial, and this is their background that with the luminal metastatic disease, we have always drug resistance, and this is the PI3 key pathway which is involved in the production of PIP3, and as you know, we have many subunit, and what this medication is going to affect the alpha subunit. So this is the preliminary clinical data of the alpelisib, and this is the clinical trial of SOLAR-1. So patient, men or postmenopausal women with luminal disease, advanced breast cancer, who had prior refractory to the aromatase inhibitor with identified BEC3CA mutation. Those patients were randomized with identified BIC3A status. So we have two patient cohort, patient who had BIC3CA mutation. They were randomized to receive alpelisib plus fulvestrant versus fulvestrant, and those patients who had no BIC3CA as a proof of concept, they have also the same trial randomization. The primary endpoint was the progression-free survival in the BIC3CA mutation, and this is the inclusion criteria. So they included patients who had relapse for more than 1 year on neoadjuvant or adjuvant endocrine treatment, or those patients with less than 1 year, and then they were treated with advanced disease with the hormonal treatment, then develop progression disease. So you can say those patients who develop disease progression on one line, and those patients who were diagnosed with de novo, then they were developed disease progression on AI. So this is the baseline characteristic. Approximately 50% of the patient had lung and liver metastasis, and only 5% of the patient had prior CDK4/6 inhibitor. So this does not reflect the clinical care at this time. And this is the patient disposition, and this is the primary endpoint. So the addition of alpelisib to fulvestrant was associated with significant improvement in the progression-free survival. It improved from approximately 5.7 months to 11 months with a hazard ratio of 0.65 and a highly statistically p-value. And this is the centrally which confirmed the locally assessed by the investigator. And this is the other cohort where there is wild BIC3CA mutant, and the addition of alpelisib was not associated with improvement. So it's improving the importance of using this medication in BIC3CA mutation. Again, there was overall response rate with the combination, and the side effect is the same as everolimus. So hyperglycemia and rash. The hyperglycemia was a little bit more than the everolimus, so it is approximately in approximately 30%, if I'm not mistaken, and as well as the rash. So now there are ongoing clinical trial trying to treat the hyperglycemia associated with this medication. And the conclusion of the investigator, they mentioned that the alpelisib is the first PI3K inhibitor to show clinically meaningful. It's actually opposite to the Sandpiper clinical trial. BFS was significantly prolonged with the addition of alpelisib to fulvestrant. And they mentioned eventually that this is a potential new treatment option for those patients with BIC3CA mutation. And with that, I would like to thank you for your kind attention.
Okay, thank you, Meta. Now I think that we are going to conclude because the last lecture there is a problem, technical problem with the computer. It can be postponed after the lunch. So we are going to go for lunch and coming back at 2 o'clock here. Thank you.
Thank you. تعالي تعالي.
just to have that. Okay.
please.
Is it the first time to you to visit Saudi Arabia or a lot?
ثاني مرة هالسنة.
ما شاء الله ما شاء الله. Do you like الخبر?
Yeah.
الدمام?
حلوة.
Yeah, so beautiful. خبر like يعني you thought that you are not in Saudi. It's
صحيح؟
different. إيه.
Yeah.
حتى الناس منفتحة مرة يعني.
أنتي تسوقين
يا
سيارة؟
الحمد لله. لأني أنا كنت في كندا أسبوع.
سوقتي في
إيه
كندا؟
الحمد لله. فالحين بس انتظر يعني عندي سيارة بس قاعدة أدور لي سيارة أشتريها جديدة.
إن شاء الله.
خلاص دكتور؟
بس هذا أريد أشيل one of them.
Okay. Do you want me to help you?
No, just let me. أنت مستعجلة؟
لا بس عشان بروح أنزل محاضرة للدكتور.
هذا شلون أقدر؟
Do you want to remove this one?
Yeah.
Okay, let me.
أهلا. كيفك؟ الحمد لله كنت أخبارك؟
خلاص دكتور I remove it.
كيف صحتك؟ والله ماشي الحال أنت؟
تمام الله يبارك.
Can I look at the other one column? The column also.
كيف؟ شو أخبارك؟ كيف صحتك؟
سألت عنك قلت ماكو.
لا موجود إيه عفوا عليك.
إيه حنطلع العرق العراقي ماكو.
أنت تعرفي الدكتور حلواني؟
دكتور حافظ حلوان؟
Yeah.
مر علي. I know his name. Is he speaker?
Are you speaking?
No.
No.
Okay.
So.
I'll give you 5 seconds.
لقيتي البراجر؟
نعم. لا لأن في دكتور بروح نزل محاضرته من هناك هنا ما في إنترنت.
Oh.
So that's why I'm in hurry. أروح أرجع لك دكتور؟
That's it. I'm done.
شكرا مرة سوري دكتور.
شكرا على.
شكرا you are I want to thank you. Thanks a lot دكتور. أهلا هلا دكتور يا هلا بك.
أنا مش البرزنتر.
Oh, you are from moderator. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That's in this session.
إيه.
Okay, welcome.
أي ساعة حتبلشوا؟
الآن 2 it should be.
طيب.
But they are
بس
late.
كلهم عم ياكلوا.
Yeah, هذا المشكلة.
إجا أول محاضر. أنا
لا ما جاء إلى الآن. فيليب موجود. دكتور فيليب طلع الحين بس كان موجود. جهزت محاضرته وطلع.
أنا بحقدمه لأنه بيشتغل بنفس
إيه.
المكان.
ما شاء الله صراحة روينا شو ما تدين ما شاء الله. بس قولي لي اللي أرسلتي لي إياه مين له البرزنتيشن؟ مين اللي أرسلتي على الإيميل؟ لحظة أحمد الشهري وينه؟ أحمد الشهري بيتن. إنزين وفهد بن شمسة شو قال الاسم ماله؟ لا عطتني أمل سيدي أمل شو قالت لي بس تلخبط لأن عندي 3 فلاشات تلخبط. أمل لحظة 1 2 3
يس شغال. شكرا. أحمد الشحري. أحمد الشحري. Assistant professor.
تعرفنا عليك مرة ثانية.
إبراهيم الدهيني.
إبراهيم الدهيني.
نعم.
إمام تشكيل.
أهلا وسهلا من لبنان.
ما شاء الله. وين لبنان؟
حضرتك من هون؟
أنا من شغال في جامعة المقرة في مكة. بارت تايم في كينج عبد الله
يعني بمكة. السلام عليكم.
لسه قبل ما يقول دكتور احمد جميل جميل يا اخي الله يحفظكم ان شاء الله. الله يحفظك. صدق احمد الدكتور كمان اسبوع افضل لك.
من لبنان تقول لي ها؟
نعم.
فين من لبنان؟
أنا سكان بيروت بس الأصل من الجنوب.
فين؟
من الجبل.
براكتسينج.
هلا براكتسينج بمستشفى الحريري. كلينيكال. ايوه رفيق الحريري. بي نعم. و I have consulting firm. I do consultation بالدول العربية وبلبنان عن radiation. أنا radiation oncology medical physics. علاج الشعاعي. أنت سبيشالتي شو؟
أنا medical oncology.
medical oncology. تبعتونا كثير البيشنتس مش كثير من الميديكال اونكولوجي على الراديشن.
هو يعني عمل مشترك.
مظبوط.
للراح في النهايه فارق. الاربعه together. ولا ما عندك كانسر سيستم.
مظبوط. لازم يكون كومبليت كومبريهنسيف، يكون الفور تيرمز موجودين، يكون مكان احسن كل ما كان افضل للعلاج.
اجواءكم جميله حاليا في بيروت؟
هلا كويس والله. هلا في شتاء وفي ثلج، بلش الثلج.
راجل بيروت يجيكم ثلج؟
لا مش ببيروت، بالجبل يعني مش بالج.
جوني ولا يسموه؟
لا بفاريا. فاريا. انت ما رحت على لبنان؟
والله رحت تعرف متى؟
ايوه.
رحت يمكن جلست فيها اسبوع. تمام؟ يمكن ثالث يوم وانا نايم في الفندق اسمع اغتيال الحريري.
لا ولو
رفيق.
ايوه.
كان في فندقين، كان واحد اسمه انتركونتيننتال والثاني قدامه ما اعرف نسيت اسمه. نفس
المنطقة. فينيسيا. هو هنيك انت كنت بقلب الفندق؟
فينيسيا نايم.
يعني سمعت الطوشة وحر الازاز.
والازاز كله طاح على رجلي. صار لي كذا زي ما تقول يحتاج خياطة بس. فجعنا اصوات كذا والازاز طايح. اول فكرة نايم كذا بالبوكسر. فكيت الدولاب، اخذت جوازي، اخذت لي الجينز تبعي من مخرج الطوارئ تحت. وانزل تحت عاد هم عارفين، ركبوني سيارة ودوني المستشفى. المستشفى هناك خيطوا لي هي كذا طالعة كذا في هذه. شفت كان عصام جعجع داخل. بس عن انباء عن الحريري.
والله مأساة.
هذه اكسبيرينس مع لبنان.
2005 شباط 2005 14 شباط.
كانت اجواء جميله كذا بس ما كنت شفت ثلج صراحه.
الشباط بيكون لا راح الثلج. عادة جانيوري بس يمكن بضل في كمان الجبل.
حلو لبنان. حتى شعبهم كويسين.
تسلم الله يخليك.
لهجتهم كذا كمان مميزة. أدب وذوق وأخلاق كذا.
نشتغل عليهم هول كثير.
يا راجل.
بدنا نعمل سياحة.
بس انتوا الأوضاع حاليا هي الملخص.
هي هلا الشيخ سعد ما عم بيعرف يشكل هالحكومة لحتى نبلش بقى شو اسمه السلام.
لكن يتيسر كلها إن شاء الله.
إن شاء الله إن شاء الله بالتيسير. وبقى بعد بدنا إياكم تجوا على لبنان. بالنهاية نحن معتمدين كثير على دول الخليج خاصة بالسياحة.
كانت ترى لبنان يعني وجهة سياحية مفضلة لسنوات، لكن ما أعرف إيش اللي صار بعدها.
صار إنه لما صار في وضع الأزمة بسوريا ومخافة إنه تمتد على بيروت على لبنان، هذه هي الدول العربية خاصة الخليجية عطوا تحذيرات إنه ما يروحوا على
وإلى الآن ما
يعني في هلا أكيد بيروحوا بس مش مثل يعني قبل. هلا السعودية شالت الحظر، الكويت شالت الحظر، يمكن في بس بعد الإمارات
بس الوضع سيف يعني.
I think it's very safe compared to others. لا الحمد لله. busy time اللي هي الأعياد وهيك sometimes it is a little bit بس otherwise no it's still okay.
معناته في حركة ما شاء الله.
لا في حركة. هلا الحركة ابتداء من 15 ديسمبر وبتعرفوا المطار عجقة غريبة. طب أنا حفوت لك من دقيقة وبالغياب. هيدي الساعة 2.
Yes, I'm one of the moderators. I have the copy.
I think لازم نبلش I think. شو رأيكم؟
Okay.
بالإذن منكم حنبلش.
Okay. Welcome back to the second session. It's our pleasure to introduce the speakers. But first, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Ibrahim Duhaini. I'm the Chief Medical Physics and Radiation Safety Officer at Rafiq Hariri Hospital in Lebanon. It's our pleasure to welcome you to this session. And our first speaker, and it was good to say that I worked in the same hospital that he's working in back in Michigan 18 years ago. I did my training residency there. And I would like to welcome Dr. Philip. He is the clinical professor in oncology, Karmanos Cancer Institute, which is designed to be the comprehensive cancer center in Detroit, Michigan, USA. And Dr. Philip will be talking about the changing trends in adjuvant colon cancer therapy. Please, Dr. Philip.
Yeah. Thank you, Ibrahim. And I'd like to thank the organizers of this meeting to invite me here to Qatar, which is a great city to visit. I've been here before. It's always a pleasure to be coming to this place. And also the weather is much nicer than where I am in Detroit. You remember that. Okay, so again, my talk will be on the changing trends in adjuvant colon cancer therapy. I mean, certainly you know that things don't change easy, but there has been some changes that I'm going to go over with and some conceptual things which we can discuss. Just as a refresher for you, standard therapy after surgery with chemotherapy, they talk about the adjuvant chemotherapy, is routine and standard in patients with stage 3 disease. In patients with stage 2 disease, we try to select patients who are at high risk of recurrence, like pathological stage T4, patients who present with obstruction or perforation, patients with lymphovascular invasion, perineural invasion, lymph nodes less than 12. There are a number of other factors that we use. In terms of stage, we also consider using chemotherapy as an adjuvant in some patients with stage 2 disease. Again, for the sake of time, I may not really go much detail into that. And certainly in patients who have resection of a stage 4 patient, like a resected liver metastases or lung nodules or whatever you have resected, those patients, we also give them adjuvant treatment. Usually those patients have had prior treatment anyway. The options that we have for adjuvant therapy at this point in time include FOLFOX, CAPOX, also known as Zelox, capecitabine, or 5-FU-leucovorin alone. So these are really what we have at this point in time. Now, one of the things which I really want to highlight here is that the 5-year survival of patients obviously is affected by the stage of the cancer. But one thing which is very important in terms of the survival is the T4 stage, because in patients who have T4 disease like T4N0, they really do, as you can see, even worse than patients who have a stage 3A disease or 3A, which only 1 or 2 lymph nodes involved. This is really very important because people sometimes overestimate the stage 3 patients and they may underestimate the stage 2 patients. So T4N0 is really still a disease that we're concerned about, especially T4B. The historical perspective, it can take me a whole hour to go over the historical perspective, but it's a long one, which started with chemotherapy back in the 1980s and then progressed. And most recently, what we got stuck on was the MOSAIC trial, which was a combination of FOLFOX4 using 5-FU-leucovorin and oxaliplatin versus 5-FU-leucovorin, which was the standard of care. And in patients who had stage 2, but mostly stage 3 patients, this combination was tested, and it showed that the FOLFOX regimen was superior to the 5-FU-leucovorin, which really formed the basis of our current standard of care in terms of using the drug. Again, for the sake of time, I'm not showing you that FOLFOX was also found to be similar to Capox using oxaliplatin plus capecitabine. That spares the patients getting an infusional pump, and that combination is not really, at least in the United States, not that commonly used, but FOLFOX still a very common regimen. In this trial, they used FOLFOX 4. In practice in the United States, we use FOLFOX 6. In fact, modified FOLFOX 6 is our standard of care, and I'm certain that this is the same thing in the kingdom here. In this trial, as you can see, there was seen a benefit in patients who have stage 3 disease, and there was also a trend to improvement in survival. However, in patients with stage 2 disease was a bit of a dilemma because these were all comers. This is looking at all stage 2 patients, and the benefit was really not seen in terms of survival. The trial has been updated recently in 2015, and in this update, you can see that in patients with stage 3 and 2, with N2 disease, there was really even a better separation of the curves and survival improvement. So the FOLFOX data, as it stands, being very mature, really shows that there is benefit in patients who have stage 3 disease, and FOLFOX is an important treatment. However, one of the problems with the FOLFOX regimen, and the same with the Capox, is the fact that patients can get neuropathy, and the neuropathy that we're concerned about is the long-term neuropathy, which is really can be disabling. And this is something which we see in patients, and sometimes patients will even get the neuropathy after we stop the chemotherapy. But certainly when we stop the chemotherapy, we don't guarantee that the neuropathy gets better. But the neuropathy is also a function of how long the patients will be on the treatment. And therefore, this has been a concern, especially in patients who have like stage 2 disease, especially in patients who have disease that is like T3, N1 with 1 or 2 lymph nodes, patients who are older. And again, we didn't feel that this should be really something which we have to be concerned about, but we are, because the long-term toxicity of the neuropathy, as you can hear, the neuropathy can persist for a number of years, and sometimes there are patients, like less than 10% of the patients, luckily, who can have this prolonged disabling neuropathy, which can really affect their quality of life. They can go on all sorts of medications, but none of the medications really work very well. So with that in mind, with the FOLFOX or Capox regimens being beneficial in stage 3 patients, and also with the fact that neuropathy is sometimes so bad that we don't feel that patients should go through it if they need to, the IDEA trial came into place, and this was really a large collaboration between a number of countries. They had their own studies, and they were put together to create a 12,000 plus patient population of stage 3 patients who were tested for the optimal duration of the treatment. So how was that done? This was a randomization of the stage 3 patients, over 12,000, to receive 3 months of FOLFOX or Capox versus 6 months. And this was really a non-inferiority type of clinical trial design, where you're saying, if I give 3 months of treatment, am I really compromising the outcome of the patient, keeping in mind that 3 months of treatment, you know it's going to give you lesser neuropathy. And the statistical design is a bit complex, and I don't want to spend much time on it, or any time, because I'm not a statistician, but also there's another reason for that, because there's a lot of controversy of how you can interpret this trial. In ASCO, which was presented 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, the discussant took a view that many people were a bit upset with, because she took it to the real point that the trial is non-inferiority, and therefore this trial may not have met its endpoint. The population of the trial is the standard stage 3 patients, But then again, you see that there were not too many patients with T4 lesions. As I explained to you, it's a bit of a bad disease to have T4, but most patients had N1 disease. So it was a bit of a selection in some ways, that you have a bit of a better patients on this, and you can see that most patients had received FOLFOX. Now, if you look at the outcome, the primary analysis, which was the disease-free survival, you can see that both curves were probably superimposed. So overall population, they both had a similar outcome, which is a good thing. But when they looked into more details, and I'll come to that, it was a bit different. But the important point to make here is that the patients who received the FOLFOX versus the FOLFOX for 3 months versus the 6 months, or the KPOX 3 months, 6 months, you can clearly see that you have cut down significantly on the neuropathy, especially the grade 3/4 neuropathy, which is troubling. So at this point in time, 3 months, obviously, as we expect, has now been proven to be less toxic than 6 months. But the question is, how does it really compare between FOLFOX and KPOX, which is the first thing we want to ask about. So KPOX, whether you give 3 months or 6 months, you're really getting the same benefit. But with FOLFOX, there might be a bit of a